I think food bank use will increase. I'll certainly be going out there with her again this Christmas.
You were one of the founders of the food bank here.
Yeah.
Do you expect it to be extra busy this coming winter?
Unfortunately, I do. And what I really worry about is the working poor. That's the new phenomenon in this country since the Tory coalition, and now the Tories are on their own, working poor. And it's a bit like the problem of the benefits cap. That affects working people. Mum and dad doing their best, driving hard, as the Prime Minister likes to tout it, and now they're being hit again by this government. I think food bank use will increase. I'll certainly be going out there with her again this Christmas.
It's sort of a prayer answered, if you like, because we've got something we know we've got a week at least, 10 days supply of food.
And it's so disheartening for if you're a parent and you're working, you're doing your best for your family, and you have to go to a food bank because you simply can't have enough money to pay the rent, buy shoes or buy food or pay for the utility bills. It's a difficult choice for parents, and my heart goes out to them.
Do you encounter that kind of poverty yourself in the Sion ward, which
weekly,
you represent?
I get weekly emails about whether it's housing poverty, whether it's they haven't got enough money, or whether it's food poverty. All of these problems affect a large number of residents in Hounslow, and it's not getting any easier for them. I think the gap between those who can and those who can't afford is getting wider. Certainly the government's housing policies have done nothing to improve that, and they'll make it worse, and their austerity measures are doing the same. This obsession with right to buy, now being moved over to housing associations, will only cut down the supply of available and affordable housing. Affordable housing at the moment, under the Mayor's guidelines, is up to 8% of market rent. I doubt there's anyone. Sorry, not anyone. There are not many people who can afford 80% of market rent. It's very, very difficult. It puts huge pressure on local authorities and other social landlords in providing low-cost, high-quality housing, and it's getting more and more difficult. This 1% cut on the rent for everyone has cost us, our own council building programme, £12 million. It's not sustainable the way it's going. We are moving people out of borough, and I'm really worried as well about the decision or the policy where they want to make us sell off our most profitable houses, social houses, say in Chiswick, and then those people, we won't be able to rehouse those people in Chiswick because it's too expensive. That, as the Mayor, as Boris Johnson said, is economic cleansing, and I think they're doing it again, and they're doing it by the back door, or maybe not so the back door. Too many of the people that come into Hounslow then go out again when they leave at the end of the working day. We want more people to live and work in the borough. Those people need somewhere to live. We've got huge housing shortages in Hounslow, as every other London borough, so I'm not saying we're any different. And people want to develop here. It's not us that decides we want to develop it. It's developers with their investors look at West London, look at Hounslow, and they see a borough that delivers. The Mayor certainly does that. The Mayor's given us 80 million housing zone money for Hounslow, and we're being filmed in the Civic Centre. That will be going in the next couple of years, and we'll have a new town hall, if it's called a town hall. We've not made that decision yet. On the Bath Road car park, we've outgrown this building. It's an old 70s building. It's full of asbestos, and it's cold in the winter and really hot in the summer. So, and our staff numbers have shrunk. So things are changing all the time, and there'll be nearly 1,000 units on this site. So people need somewhere to live. They want to, because travelling's so expensive, I think they want to live closer to where they work, and that's really important we do that.
As a Labour Party member, who did you vote for in the leadership election?
I voted for Liz Kendall and lost.
What do you think of the way the Labour Party is going at the moment?
It's challenging. It's challenging, but I think there was a...
Are you a Corbynista now?
No. But But I fully support the leader. I fully support the party. I'm not a one-issue politician, and I think we have to look at the bigger picture, making sure, as I said, that we're protecting the poor. And I've made a personal commitment, all the Labour councillors here, as part of our manifesto from 2014, to look after the most needy, the most at need. That's our role. I think every Labour MP would have that same view. We've got to look after those minorities most at risk. I don't have a particular view. They get on what they need to get on with up in Westminster. I'm getting on with my job here. I support the Labour leadership 100%, and I support the Labour opposition.
How are you going to manage to provide school places sufficiently?
Well, I think it's going to be very difficult and challenging. As you know, we have a statutory duty to provide school places, although we have no control over schools now. That's all done by the department and the minister. We have no capital budget for building new schools. So we are reliant on the funding agency, education funding agency, to buy sites in the borough and decide where they're going to put free schools.
But where are they going to be?
Well, I think there's a shortage of brownfield sites, and even if they are brownfield sites, we don't own them. Companies own them, investors own them, and if we go to a compulsory purchase order way, it can take years to get through. So it's about working with developers, it's working with landowners, working with the department to see where's the best place we can put schools. Because what we don't want to do...
Is it achievable, though?
We would look everywhere we can and work with everyone to try and find a suitable place for a school. We've got controversy at the moment with the NISCAM application going in shortly, I think on the 18th. Might be going to planning committee on the 18th of November. Lots of people, as a Keep Osterley Green group, were very active in saying no, they don't want a school up in Osterley there. There's another group who say yes, we want a school. So it's very difficult. Sometimes I think the council's the meat in the sandwich, and it's not our sandwich of the making, it's made by government. It's their policy, not ours. But we will do, because we said we'd do it, try and make sure every child has a place in a school in Hounslow who wants it. I think it was a pioneer in its day, because we had the Golden Mile and all the industries which were down the A4, and that didn't happen by accident. That happened by planning, and because people thought it was a great place to come and work and live. And the same's happening again. If you look at Smith Clyde, Skye particularly expanding their campus, people like this part of West London. It's a good place to be. Near Heathrow, and some people have their views about that, but you've got the rest of West London, you've got easy access into central London, and we're a very green borough, and we're easily out to get out to Surrey and Hampshire, etc., etc. So it's a really good place to live. And I think Brentford's always changed. I've been here 20 years and it's changed out of recognition. The borough's changing all of the time, and that's one of the attractions. Now, many years ago, a family would only live in a 3-bedroom house or a 2-bedroom house. That's all changing. Many families now live in 2-bedroom flats. That's because of the soaring house prices, and that's how they like to live. It's not for me to dictate to people how they live. They decide that, whether they rent or they have a mortgage. They decide that, but we need to be there to support them. And people like living in Brentford. They like living in Isleworth, Chiswick, all those places. Feltham, Heston, Hanworth, all of those places. We had a very clear mandate when we were elected in 2014, and that was to regenerate Hounslow. So we're regenerating Brentford Town Centre with the Ballymore development. We also made a commitment to develop Hounslow Town Centre, and that will be going to planning committee this year, hopefully. And now we're working on the Feltham master plan to finish off the work we started there. So it's all change in Hounslow. And I think mostly we get it right. There's some people, and I can understand it, like the way it was, but it can never be like the way it was. Life changes, our friendships change, our relationships change, who's in power changes. We've got a very strong commitment. It's around jobs, it's around school places, it's around making sure that we've got right developments, that people can live and work in the borough. It's about safeguarding their environment. We've got a very green borough. We need to protect that and enhance that. So all those things coming together are really important. We love and support small business. So there was a myth, I think, going around in the general election that Labour didn't support business. Absolutely not true. We do.
Unemployment is still a significant factor in the borough, isn't it?
Well, we've started a project with the Department of Health, Department of Work and Pensions, called a work escalator. So we're targeting a group of people who are sort of stuck and they can't get more higher paid jobs because they're lacking some skills and knowledge. So we're working with them, and we've always had some great success already, and we're piloting that for South West London. And all those small little initiatives that it can really target down and help an individual break out of that poverty trap, help them get the skills and the knowledge to go for higher paid jobs.
What makes you want to do this as a councillor, as a council leader?
I love being a councillor. I've been a councillor since 2010. I didn't mean to do it really. I started off, and I tell this when I meet residents groups who are up in arms about something we've done or maybe not done. I started off as chair of the Griffith Park Residents Association. That got me on the windy road. Some 15 years later, here I am. So all things are possible, and I warn chairs and vice chairs of Residents Association what could happen to them. But I really enjoy being a councillor because you can make a difference. And I really enjoy being on the cabinet and now being leader. We all make a difference together. We're obviously stronger as a team.
What will be your legacy?
For me, it's making sure that we hit all our targets on housing, school places, regeneration, looking after the elderly, looking after the sick, looking after the young, all the things we promised we would do. It isn't anything special.
Where do you think you might fail?
The biggest threat, I think, is the government austerity cuts, that we can't do the basic things we said we do. We will always set a legal budget here, because if we don't, that means the government will send in the commissioners and we won't be able to deliver it for our people. So I think the budget cuts are the most significant threat to us being able to deliver what we want to deliver at the moment.